Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday to you out there in internet land. Don Cramer with the Cramer Group at Urban Nest Realty. We are on the Friday edition of Coffee with Cramer and Colleen. Colleen sends her best today. Like I've mentioned a couple days this week, she has been busy in the real estate world. So working with some buyers and some sellers this week. I'm going to be catching up with her a little later today out in the field. But we will be wearing our masks and protective gear, practicing social distancing while we work with clients on real estate. We have a guest coming in here into the studio, into the virtual studio here fairly soon. It is John Perdichizzi with ASAP Security. In fact, I see John joining in here right now, so I'm going to add him to the stream.
Hold
John, are you
on.
there?
I'm here, Don. How you doing?
I'm great. Just welcome. We were just kind of going through the pleasantries this morning. Thanks for joining in today.
Well, thank you for having me. Sorry about that. Had a little bit technical difficulties.
Well, we try to make it easy, but technology marches to its own drum.
Oh, yes, it does.
So, well, ladies and gentlemen, we're excited to have with us today John Perdichizzi with ASAP Security Services. And ASAP, just to make sure it's spelled right, is ASAP.
That is correct.
And it doesn't just necessarily mean, I believe, as soon as possible. It's, I believe, always secure or always safe, always protected.
Always safe, always protected, always stop and pray, any way you want to look at it.
Well, and John and I, we do a lot of business networking together. And John, like I said, works in the security field, both in the residential side and the commercial side here in Las Vegas. So John was kind enough to join us. We were going to have John on a couple of weeks ago, but that work thing got in the way for you. So John, we appreciate you tuning in.
That's what happens when you're essential, I guess.
Exactly. So we, as I like to say, this is Coffee with Cramer, and then sometimes my partner Colleen joins us. So cheers to you. What's your beverage of the morning?
Oh, I've got ice water right now.
Ice water in the glass in your veins. There you go.
I'm coffeeed out.
Got to dilute a little bit.
That's it. Stay hydrated.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be warm out there. So if anyone has any questions on today's video for John, questions about commercial security, residential security, we would love for you to put those in the comment section. We'll post it up and get John to answer them. Also, too, if you see this video later today or the next several days and have a question, do us a favor, comment below. I'll get them over to John, and hopefully we'll get some great answers back to you. So, John, give me the little 411 about you, because it doesn't sound like that's a native Las Vegas accent.
No. I was born in Brooklyn, New York, grew up in Long Island, relocated my family here in 2003.
What brought you out here?
Sometimes I like to say, 2 federal offices and a black sedan, but
witness protection.
Hey, can't say.
There you go.
But I've started working for my father-in-law back in 1982 when he was a licensed electrician, dabbling in security systems back then. They were really new. I came on board to work with him. I helped him with the electrical and took the alarm system and camera system division further. His company was originally called CL&J Electric Company.
Okay.
That was named after his 3 daughters. I'm married to Jessica, lovely Jessica. After about 8 years of me being there, he actually changed the name to CL&J Alarms because we were doing more alarms than we were doing electric.
Okay. So security was becoming a bigger portion of the business pie.
Yeah, yes, it was.
And so you came out here, and did ASAP start when you arrived out here, or?
Well, it's funny. When I did arrive out here, I started working for a company as an installer, and it was supposed to be a temporary thing again.
Okay.
While I was looking for what I really wanted to do, but turns out I ended up buying out the company. At that time, it was called Crime Busters of America.
Okay.
So we bought out their assets, not their company, with the phone number as well, and we changed it to Crime Busters of Nevada. So that is our corporate name. We became an ADT dealer, and ADT, they said that we were too similar to Crime Busters of America because they were an ADT dealer. So they said, you have to come up with a DBA. So we came up with ASAP Security.
All right. So that's sort of the journey of the name. And I think ASAP Security, ADT, I think that blends well together.
I think so.
Yeah. So, John, your business does have a focus both on the residential side and the commercial side.
Yes, we do both equally, pretty much. A lot of our commercial business comes from residential clients who have businesses, and a lot of our residential clients come from our commercial clients who have homes.
Okay.
So it works pretty well.
Nice. It's great where you can kind of cross over with the same client base. That's terrific.
Correct. We do a lot of cameras. We do access control as well. So that seems to be something that's going to be up and coming now. Touchless entry into buildings, touchless entries into communities, and so forth. So that's where it looks like it's going because of what's happening in the world right now.
Okay, so actually that is actually perfect timing. So in light of COVID-19, social distancing, needing to maintain more sanitary environments, both in public and private spaces, it sounds like your next trend is sort of the more controlled access points that extend beyond secured buildings.
That is correct. That is correct.
So, I mean, a lot of people that tune in, I'm sure, have pool service companies, landscapers, other trades or services that may need access beyond the front gate, package delivery, things of that nature.
Yes. That's funny you said package delivery. We've actually just recently became a contractor with Amazon.
Okay.
For deliveries. One of the problem Amazon's had is when they've send their drivers out to a community is getting past the gates. Sometimes they have a gate code, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's a large community, so vehicles are constantly coming in and out, so they can piggyback in. So we've worked with them, and they've actually got a device now that we've been contracted to install on community gates or apartment complexes or buildings that have Amazon deliveries, where the Amazon driver will now have access through an app that he already has on his phone to track his deliveries, will now have access to open that gate, but only if he's got a delivery in that community.
Interesting.
So that driver can't come back at 2:00 in the morning and open the gate and drive through the community and wreak havoc. He's only allowed access when he's supposed to be there, or she.
Okay.
So it's going to speed up. It's going to speed up the process for deliveries and the accuracy of the deliveries. And the biggest part is Amazon's picking up the whole tab. It will not cost the communities or the apartment complex or anything at all. Amazon's paying for the equipment. Amazon's paying for me to install it. Amazon's going to maintain it as well.
Wow.
So that's because it's going to be saving them, millions of dollars probably in the long run.
Oh, I'm sure they have a business analyst that run those numbers.
Oh yeah. So we're pretty excited about that.
So you've touched on access points. You've touched on cameras. What other trends are you seeing right now that are in place or kind of coming up that let's start with the homeowners first that might be coming down the pipe?
So with the intrusion systems, the alarm systems, keypads are going away.
Okay.
Because you used to put a keypad at every entrance in the bedrooms and so forth, but now your cell phone becomes your keypad. So we're putting one in the house just as a backup, but primarily people are using their cell phones to arm and disarm the systems. And again, it brings that whole touchless into the environment where you don't have everyone touching the keypad, pushing the buttons and worrying about having to sanitize it afterwards. It's your own cell phone that you should be the only one using anyway. So
gotcha.
So that's working really well. And with that, you're actually able to control the system uh, remotely. So you don't even need to be home to arm and disarm the system. And you can unlock your doors remotely. So if you do have a cleaning service coming, you can just, disarm the system and buzz them through your front door. When they're done, just give you a call. You pull out your cell phone and rearm the system for you. So
Okay.
it's really cool.
So one of the questions we get on some of those types of things is that, are those situations available through a single app, or do you have to use multiple applications?
Through a single app.
Okay, great. Great. So it's not like family members I know that would say, I said, okay, we've got the home theater and smart home system. There's only 14 remote controls to run it.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's why you want to hire a professional like us. We can integrate it all into one app, where a lot of
Excellent.
the DIYs are gonna pick, they're gonna pick one from column A, one from column B, and then find out they don't speak to each other.
Right. Right. So it's nice. So you're looking at not just the different devices, but integrating them into a single manageable solution.
Correct. Correct. Years ago we were, electricians, then we were alarm companies, then we were, alarm and cameras. Now we're considered integrators.
Integrators. Okay. Excellent. And what about on the commercial side? Any changes there?
Pretty much the same thing as on the residential side with the access control and the cell phone. You can buzz yourself in with your cell, or we can give you a remote, or we can give you a card. In our office here, our shop, we've got access control on the doors. I keep my access card inside my phone case, between the phone and the case. It's very thin, it's flat. So when I pull up to the office and I need to open the door, all I do is wave my phone in front of the reader, and the door buzzes open.
Just kind of like a wand like.
Exactly. So it doesn't even need to touch. And again, keeps that hands free. We've done door openers as well.
Okay.
We did this even before the virus was out here. We have a community that had a situation where they had residents that they had one particular resident that was giving them a hard time because she was, in a wheelchair. She was not able to access the fitness center because she was not able to open the door with a key and pull the door open.
Okay.
So we went in there and we put a door opener in for her, for the community. So now she has a remote control. When she wheels up to the fitness center, she pushes the button and the door just swings open, kind of like you'd see in a casino.
Oh, sure.
Okay, so we put door openers in. Again, taking away the whole the touchy thing where you don't have to touch the handle anymore to open that door. So with a remote, you can actually unlock your door and let it swing open. Just walk right through, hands free.
And you brought up the casinos, and it looks like we're going to start some partial reopening tomorrow. So that's exciting, with some restaurants and services starting to reopen. And the casinos, how are things being looked at, or how are you all looking at these places where, okay, it's not just security access, but it's the movement of people through businesses and spaces?
Right, correct. So we've been looking into some thermal imaging cameras that'll actually be able to take people's temperatures as they walk through doorways.
Okay.
Have someone monitoring that. And if somebody gets flagged as being, a little bit on the high temperature, then, they'll have an officer or a security officer, approach them gently and maybe have a handheld temperature gauge.
Mm-hmm.
And do a secondary check on that, and then proceed from there. It's a very touchy situation, though. How do you ask somebody? They tell somebody they can't stay.
Right. Yeah. I'm sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, but you have a fever. Come with us, please.
So that's what's coming up with that.
Yeah, so that's what's coming up. Is so in the casino hotel industry, it's not just about I remember first moving here, and the eyes in the skies were everywhere. But it's
Right.
not just the eyes in the skies, but it seems to be the thermometers too.
Right. And also with the restricted occupancy, we've always had what we call people counters. Okay. A lot of businesses have had them. A lot of shops in the malls have them, and they're people counters. It's basically to try to track. It's used for marketing to see how many people are coming and going out of that business in a day.
Sure. ins and outs.
Okay. Well, now we can actually use that to monitor how many people are in the building at one time, and if they're supposed to be at a 50% occupancy, then it can, maybe lock down the doors a certain way, or alert someone to have people wait outside till someone leaves, stuff like that as well. That technology has been around, but it was used differently. It was used for marketing at one time. Now they're going to start using it differently. They're going to use it for security, for safety.
Got it. I know when I go to my neighborhood store, there's a person out front, and they're monitoring capacity in the store, and then
Right.
if it queues up, if it reaches that capacity, you queue up outside. So that
Right.
sounds like that those things are going to be, we'll probably be seeing that in the hotels.
Right. Automated.
In a more automated alert fashion.
Right, because they have multiple entrances. Your local store usually has one entrance, and it's easy to put someone there and monitor it. But if you've got a hotel or casino with multiple entrances, these can all be integrated so they can keep count of how many people are in the building at one time without having someone standing there counting.
Okay, well that's pretty neat. That's what and that provides these large businesses like that the scalability to operate these things.
Right, and the neatest part is it's been around. It's nothing new.
Yeah, like I said,
it was used differently. It was used for marketing and to see how much flow and how many people they needed to employ and so forth. At what hours was their busy hour? When was their slow hour? Should they stay open another hour? Should they close early?
Interesting. Well, that's pretty cool. So, John, you're in the security space, and so we're looking at devices for security. We're looking at cameras. We're looking at access points. All alarm pads, things of that nature. But we're also moving into a very app wireless generation. What are the concerns about security on the security?
Well, I mean, everything is encrypted and it's password protected, and it all depends on how secure you want it to be. So the app on your phone, I mean, you may have it that you need your fingerprint to open the app. Okay. So now, if somebody was to pick up your phone, they wouldn't be able to log into your security system or your camera system or your intrusion because they don't have your fingertip to open the app. Or you can set it up with a password and so forth. So it is pretty secure.
Okay, well, that's great to inform people because I know there are more concerns as we move into a more online space. People monitoring hackers, things of that nature. But
right now keep in mind, the professional equipment is going to have more encryption than the DIY stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The DIY stuff, they're just low price, get it in, get it out, and deal with it later. Where the professional stuff has had lots and lots of R&D on it and security and lots of people looking into it to make sure it's a secure device, because not only are they being used for residential, but they're used for high security facilities such as banks, jewelry stores. So it's the same equipment, but now being used in a home or small business. So it's got the same level of security that they would have.
That's a great point.
Where the DIY stuff is not concerned about banks and jewelry stores because they know they'll never be part of their clients. They're just worried about they're concentrating on the DIY low cost do-it-yourselfers. So the security is not as tight for them, or not as much of a concern.
Yep. No, I think that's a great point. I mean, you're looking at from sort of the simple use, but also the simpler the use, the simpler the system.
Yes.
And versus, like you said, a more professional based system, which has higher degrees of encryption, higher degrees of testing, and security onto its own right.
Correct.
John, recently there was, because we've seen you now and again on our local news, but more recent there was a, because if there's a security expert we need. So, when you talked about, you were trying to be relocated, we see on the news a lot.
I guess I shouldn't do that. Huh?
Yeah, exactly. There was an incident where there was some deliveries, but it wasn't just, I guess the delivery team decided they also needed to pick something up. but fortunately,
Yes, that was a client that we had installed cameras a few years back, in a Sun City, Summerlin here.
mhm,
And she had us put camera inside her garage door as well. She was very concerned as what would happen in her garage. She spent a lot of time in there. She uses it as her gym as well. She's got her treadmill and bicycle in there and stuff.
okay,
So she had some groceries delivered from one of the local supermarkets, but it was through a third party delivery company. It wasn't the grocery store delivering it.
wasn't a biggie.
And yeah, yeah. So it was a third party delivery company. And what happened was their drivers texted that they were on the way. So she opened up her garage door waiting for them. And as they brought their groceries into the garage, she actually ran into the house or something to grab a tip for them. And one of the drivers took off with a brand new vacuum she had just bought in March. Still had the box in the garage. And the other guy, just waited for her to sign off on it and get her, and leave. She didn't notice anything because the house was going through some construction. She had a leak, so her
Sure.
cabinets were all over the garage. But she called me on a Saturday. She called me and she's like, "John, I need your help. I need help to pull the footage." She hadn't done it in a while, so she wasn't familiar with it. So I walked her through it, and sure enough, we see the guy pick up the vacuum inside the garage, and then we see him run outside the front of the house in the driveway, and he runs out to the car with it.
Wow.
So she was very upset. She called the delivery company. She even called Metro, but couldn't get through because they've got other things to deal with right now, not vacuums. But
Yeah, I
she
think
asked,
vacuums are a little lower on the priority stack.
yeah, she asked me for some help. So I had contacts at one of the news stations that had interviewed me before. I called him up, and he said, "Yeah, I'm interested."
Mm-hmm.
So we did, and they came out and they did the story. Well, the day after the story aired, she got a phone call from the delivery company. They offered to pay for the vacuum, and they also offered her a $75 shopping credit, and told her that the two employees were no longer employees.
Okay.
And they were willing to cooperate with Metro if she decided to go further, but she's like, "I'm not going to waste their time with this." She got what she was hoping for, at least.
Well, and hopefully they kind of learn. Hopefully they took this as a life moment to say, okay, that's probably not the
Right,
thing to do ever again.
right. Because the other thing is, who else were they? What else did they take from other people?
Right.
That's the one
Exactly.
that got caught. That's the
Yeah.
one that got caught.
Exactly.
And how
Most
much more
likely that
damn?
wasn't
How much?
me.
And how much more could they have taken if they didn't get caught?
No, absolutely,
And
absolutely.
it's a shame. It's a shame they prey on the seniors in the senior communities.
It is. It is. I mean, unfortunately, preying on the vulnerable. So, with that in mind, John, you got um, you're talking to a homeowner. You're talking to do you also speak to HOAs about what they can do to educate the homeowners, or?
Oh yes, yes, I do quite a few speaking with the HOAs. Sometimes they'll invite me down to speak to their community. We have got some contacts with them because we do a lot of their access for their clubhouses, their pools, their cameras. So I've got some people that there. I've also spoken, different clubs like the Lion clubs, the Kiwanis. I've been asked to come in and speak with them about security. You
Oh,
know,
that's great. That's great. And as to sort of like best practices.
pretty much, pretty much. I've also graduated from the Citizens Police Academy,
Okay.
which was a really neat thing. It helps you understand what a police officer goes through,
Mm-hmm.
and all the different divisions and their processes and stuff like that. It was a really neat experience, and it's helped me with my business, where I can understand, why they do certain things and why they don't do certain things.
Okay.
And that's, and it was. I'm right now. I don't know what's happening with it, but it is open to all residents of Clark County, I believe, that
Oh,
want to
good.
take it. It's totally free, and it's an amazing experience to do.
Hmm.
I've also taken classes on advanced breaking and entering, so I can break into houses for a living if I wanted to. But I kind of even this freedom is better than no freedom.
Right. So it's one of the exactly.
A little delayed, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Kind of a what we call a joke grenade. It kind of goes off a couple seconds later.
Yeah.
So you're also looking at it too from a standpoint of, okay, well, how can I not just be the solutions provider, but sort of, okay, we want to test against our solutions.
Oh, yes, because I am also a licensed locksmith.
Okay.
So I am called out a lot of times to break into houses, break into businesses. Business owner is locked out. I need to get him in. A homeowner is locked out, or somebody, there's an eviction, and I have to go down there and meet with one of the deputies to open up the home so he can walk through, make sure that the tenants are gone completely, and then rekey the place and lock it down for them.
Okay. Well, that I'm sure, with we have a large rental population here, for better or worse. For the most part, it's probably, we're all pretty good, but there are situations. It sounds like you're kind of busy just in that own right.
Yes. So I do have a locksmith that on staff as well as myself, and then I've got my other technicians that are all low voltage technicians that can do cameras, alarms, access control, and so forth.
Okay. And with real estate, things of that nature, you're dealing with, in a lot of cases, we do still have houses that we predominantly built in Vegas in the 70s, the 80s, and early 90s. Do you find any challenges with implementing these newer technologies within?
None at all. None at all, because our alarm systems, the intrusion systems, they're totally cellular. So we put a control system in there. We put a control panel. It's got its own cellular card on there so that it communicates through either Verizon or AT&T. So makes no difference whether they have any technology in the house or not. It'll still work.
Okay. So we're not talking about wires running on the outside. We can have a very discrete, homeowners can have a very discrete system if it wasn't even implemented originally.
Oh, definitely, because again, everything's wireless, Wi-Fi. New transmitters are actually bi-directional. So the old transmitters that we'd have for wireless, they open the door, it sends a signal to the control panel. Well, the new ones are now that you open the door, it sends a signal to the control panel sends a signal back, says, okay, I heard you.
Okay. And just for people tuning in, what does that afford them?
The encryption affords them less likely that somebody could possibly hack the contact and bypass it and still break into the business or home.
Okay. And so that bi-directional communication is more from an encryption standpoint?
Correct.
Okay. That's, again, some things that people don't really take a look into when they're going through an online store or a hardware store and just picking any old device up.
Correct. And, I am available, for anyone that wants to call us. I will personally come out to their home and give them a security evaluation and give them some pointers, some things, some simple pointers that I don't even need to do. I can show the homeowner what they can do to make their home more secure, as Metro calls it, target hardening. You want your target to be harder than the target next door.
And less attractive, I would take it.
Exactly. Burglars go for low-hanging fruit.
Okay. That's a great point for everyone to know. And so, John, that's great that you're available for that evaluation and consultation. So, John, let the people know what are the best ways to contact ASAP Security.
Well, best way is, through our landline, probably. It's 702-870-8880. Or you can visit our website, and that would be at ASAPNV, like Nevada.com. And it's funny, I have to say like Nevada, because I've had clients try to get in touch with us, and they spell out the word envy.
Envy, okay. Well, I'm glad you're saying Nevada versus Nevada.
Right. And then also, if you want to send me an email, if you're into the emails, you can always send it to info@asapnv.com.
Letter N, letter V.
Letter N, letter V.
Fantastic. Well, John, is there anything today that we didn't cover that you think is important to give a shout out to people right now under COVID, and then things to be heads up about over the next 60, 90 days?
Well, I mean, everybody's doing it already. Keep your hands clean, wear your masks, go touchless wherever you can. If you need some help, just let me know, and I can maybe give you some pointers.
Fantastic. Well, John, I appreciate you coming in. Obviously, you very busy schedule with life moving, and especially as things be reopening, I'm sure a lot of businesses and people will need to be reaching out to you to bring their either their home or their business up to the new operating norms.
Right.
So, well, thanks for
Well, thank you
tuning.
for having me.
Absolutely. Love it. And thank you for everyone tuning in today with today's Coffee with Cramer and Colleen. Colleen, like I said, sends her best. So if you do have a question for John, you can reach out to him at asapnv.com or also email him at info@asapnv.com. And on behalf of Colleen, I'm Don Cramer with the Cramer Group at Urban Nest Realty, where more now than ever your real estate experience matters. Give us a call if we can help you with buying, selling, or investing in real estate. And reach out to John for once you secure that piece of real estate, whether it's residential, commercial, and harden that target. Thanks, John. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Don.
Fantastic. Everyone have a great weekend. Bye.
You too. Bye.